Hello guys, welcome to part 9 of this build. And as you can see, I have disassembled the whole Jeep, and I'm going to do the final preparations before I'm going to take it to the paint. So as you can see guys, there isn't a lot of work left before I can take the Jeep apart and fix up some left bodywork before I can paint this little Jeep. But right now I'm going to take some measurements inside the fender here to see how much place I got for making the exhaust, and I will take the body of the chassis and make the exhaust, and I have decided to mount the exhaust to the frame instead of the body. So if I'm going to do any maintenance work or reparation on this little Jeep, I'm just lifting off the body, and I don't need to think about disconnecting the exhaust. So now I'm just gonna take my permanent marker and mark on the frame where the body starts building or taking place, and take some measurements and notice them, and just take the body off the chassis. Forgot about the filler tube on the gas tank, so I need to take the gas tank out before I can lift the body off. So now I can attach this to the exhaust right there and make the exhaust over here 90 degree and into some homemade muffler of some kind, and just outside here. So my plan is to just tack this in place, cut up the next piece as long as it needs to be to clear the floor wall or the body wall that's coming here, because the exhaust pipe muffler is gonna lay here. So I'm just gonna make a straight piece there, mount this one, and make some rubber mounts to this or anything else on the frame, and just build the entire exhaust. Alright, so my plan now is to use this, I think it's 3 inches, yeah, or 2, whatever. I'm gonna use this tube and make an exhaust pipe from here and 90 degrees down and then out. So I'm going to take this 90 degree and tube in the same dimension, chop it in 2 to make it not round, but yeah, like an exhaust muffler, and try tacking it together and fill it with some with some chambers inside. So I'm not gonna use any exhaust isolation or inside, just chambers. So I'm just gonna start taking a tube, cut it up and try to split it in half and see how it's going to look. The hard part is to cut this in half. I'm just gonna try mark it up like this and chop it and see. Alright, so I did just cut it on freehand. Yeah, it's turned out great. So now I'm gonna pack this together. So I got a new plan. I found the original cooler exhaust muffler and I cut it open just to see how it is built up. So I'm going to make a new one out of this tube. I'm gonna make one this way and another one on the turn on the way down and then out. So I'm going to make these chambers inside the exhaust. You see the exhaust is coming in. This tube is blended in the middle and the exhaust needs to go out these holes, find its way inside the little tube again and into the next chamber. So I'm basically going to do exactly the same. I got this one, this fits inside and fits over the smaller tubing. So I'm just going to tack it together and I hope it's going to be quiet when I'm finished. Alright. So, then the muffler is fully welded. And you can see it's blended down there. So you got two chambers inside here, so the exhaust needs to go all the way through. But I don't think this one is gonna dampen the sound enough. So this one is gonna lay like this in the Jeep. I wanted to use this one, but I didn't manage to get get enough space for it, and it's made out of Titan, so it's nothing I can weld and customize. But I'm thinking about tearing this apart, using the tube inside with the holes, and make a similar one. So as I said earlier, this one is made out of titanium, so I can't really weld in it, but I will see if I can use the inner tube with the holes in to hold all the dampening isolation away from the exhaust. So I'm going to take it apart. I have grinded off those small pops. So now I'm going to tear it apart, take out the isolation and the tube. Planning to attach the titanium pipe to the stainless steel. Just put it inside like this, and then a new tube come over here, and I will stuff it with the isolation from the muffler. And I make it as long as I want it, and it will go outside. And I will have this one first, and then the normal silencer type, and hopefully the little Jeep is gonna be quiet. I don't know if I'm able to weld this with all this exhaust muffler meat inside here, but I'm just gonna try. No, I'm just gonna weld it together to see if the muffler is going to work at all. So let's try. It seems like it went well, welding it with all the muffler stuff inside. So I'm gonna dress up this weld a little bit, because this is gonna be shown if you looking from the underside of the Jeep. And this one I will cut it and add a 90 degree that is going out. And that's the whole exhaust system. So, and the bracket is done. Now I need to see if I can reach through the TIG and tack it in place, and then I can make a new mount and mount the exhaust muffler. So I made this mount. It's going to be attached here, and I will make a similar one that is in stainless, of course, that is going to be welded to the muffler. So I needed to make a new one, a little bit longer, because because it was too short, so it didn't clear the body. But now I'm ready to weld it again. So I'm going to just tack this all in place and try the body on top of the frame again, and then make sure everything fits. I have taken some measurements before I took off the body, but you never know. So I'm going to test it once more and then weld it, and then the Jeep is almost finished. Yeah, I bought these locks. I'm gonna use it on the hood and on the windshield. So this one I'm gonna chop off this, weld it to the chassis, and this one is gonna be bolted with 2 bolts to the sheet metal here, and same in the dashboard. But the small piece is going to be welded. And I'm going to chop off this little locking mechanism here. So, let's get into that. the time has come for checking if the body will clear the exhaust. So I took a lot of measurements before I had the body of the chassis and made the exhaust, but we will see. I need to test it to be sure. So let's see if I can manage to get the body on top of the chassis on my own. So the exhaust fitted perfectly, except from one thing. I have taken the wrong measurements here, so the muffler was a bit longer than it needed to be. I wanted the 90 degree to come out here, but now it will come out a little bit further down. But I do not going to cut this one open again and make it shorter. I think so. But this is stainless steel, so it's not going to be painted. So when the Jeep is all done, and if I'm not satisfied with the exhaust tip, I can always customize this later. I don't know if it sounds right either, but I get a complete exhaust system now. Is almost the only thing that remains on this little Jeep is to weld here and then underneath and grind. Tuck this bit in place, make some nuts under here for the gear shifter booth, and make finish the seats and make mounts for the seats. And then we can start disassembly this project and make it ready for paint. Alright, so I've been doing a lot of thinking and testing off camera, but I came up with this plan. I'm stealing these seat rails from the old Lada. Here you can see the old seat. So my plan is I'm gonna weld this one directly to the seat frame. I don't mind making any mounts. I'm going to tilt the seat a little bit back, weld it, and I will bolt those rails down to the floor in the Jeep, and then I can adjust the seat. just gonna tack these rails in place and mount it in the Jeep before I fully weld it, because it is very important those two are total parallel and online. If they aren't, the seats is gonna get stuck in some position. So I need to try it and mount it in the Jeep first. So now I'm just gonna do another seat. So the plan now is to drill 2 holes through the square tubing to make it rigid, and on this side I will weld in another square tubing and drill a hole in that too as well. And on this side the hole is just gonna go through the sheet metal plate, but I think it's gonna be more than stiff enough because both of these rails are laying on the square tube underneath here. Same on this side, plus this one is gonna get its own square tube with bolt through. Then I think it's gonna be very rigid. And in the front here I'm gonna chop off the excessive metal that is sticking out. And then I got some adjustable seats. Now the reinforcement for the seat is in, and I'm just gonna put the last sheet metal plate in place, tack it in place, bolt the seats down in front and line them up, and then drill the 2 rear holes. And when I disassemble the Jeep I will tack on some nuts on underneath, so I don't need to get under the Jeep to take out the seats. So let's go! now I have to turn some washers here so I can clear this one. Needs to be higher than the seat adjusting handle. And I need to turn down the diameter of the heads of the screws because they are scratching inside the mechanism here. So I'm just gonna turn off about 3 millimeters, and I think it's gonna be fine. And then I just can weld the mechanism to the seats, and then the only thing that remains on the seats are some mounts for the wood plate, and adjust the back a little bit further back. Left, like running those tack welds all over the body and finishing the seats. Yeah, so everything that is left is just some welding and grinding and some small things. Welding some nuts underneath of the chassis to make disassembling easier. So I'm just going to start to disassemble the whole Jeep. And prepare it for paint, fix small things under the way when I see them and I'm disassembling the car. Yeah, so I just think I'm gonna tear it apart. So this is the last time you guys will see it complete before it's totally finished. So let's go! Alright, so before I disassemble the Jeep and make it ready for paint, I wanted to do a little comparison between a Yamaha Wolverine 700 and a mini Jeep. So you guys actually can see the size of this thing. I think the Wolverine is quite ugly. It looks like something that a Predator would have been ridden in. So it's quite a bit smaller. Alright guys, that was the end of part 9, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that next video, and I will see you.